Hello, my Facebook and YouTube and Instagram family. I am Crystal Dillard, and thank you so much for joining me for my Crystal Loves Texas podcast tonight. We're shifting gears a little bit. And the way that we're shifting gears, well, first of all, I'm all about teachers in Texas, teachers being treated fairly and getting everything that they deserve and living their best life. That's what it should be. And with that in mind, I'm going to bring you a little bit of information. When I found out about it, it was so absolutely remarkable to me. But teachers are not just sitting down and taking it on the chin anymore. No, they are standing up, taking hold of their own futures. They're not allowing someone else to write their script. And today, we've got a teacher in here that I've known, I can literally say all her life, but she's also a former HISD teacher, and she has always been someone who's very, very resourceful. And she can look at a problem and just solve it in her mind before she even puts her hands on it. But I want to introduce you to Jerwan O'Neill. And she is a current teacher. She's not even former. She's a young lady, but she is not even a former teacher. She's a current teacher. And she decided to take that leap of faith and venture into her own creative aspect of what her heart desires. And in doing that, offer it up to others. Jerwan, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you go to school? Where are you from?
All right. I am Jerwan O'Neill. I am a native Houstonian. Went to Lamar High School, Prairie View A&M, and I have been a teacher for, let's see, 18 plus years.
Wow. Okay. So even though I'm a lot older than her, she's been teaching a little longer than me because she's seen me go through a couple of career choices, right? Okay. But Jerwan, now with that in mind, that's something that's really interesting because right now in Houston, with the climate of what's going on in some of our larger ISDs, namely Houston ISD, which is the largest independent school district in the state of Texas, we know we have a lot of teachers who at this point, they are feeling sort of hopeless and helpless with their situation. And right before we went on, you told me of a friend who actually was saying that you called her to remind her to come to your open house this weekend. And she was saying, I'm just leaving school. That's scary. That's
6:30 p.m.
That's really, really scary. And, with that in mind, I wanted you to come in because what I want to do is share with my Crystal Loves Texas audience the different creative ways teachers are venturing out of the traditional classroom arena, still using their skills and embarking upon their own adventures, entrepreneurial adventures, and becoming very successful and innovative with those things. And when Jerwan and I were talking just a few weeks ago, she was saying, Crystal, you got to let me tell you about my new studio. And I said, your new studio? Tell me about your new studio. What is your new studio? Because she's a techie. I've never been a techie. And she has opened up, she said, I've got a new STEAM studio. And now I've heard of STEM before, but she's going to tell us what STEAM means and tell us exactly what her new venture entails.
Okay. So it is STEAM Studio 3, and STEAM is science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics.
Okay.
I was an art major, So my first love is doing anything creative. My major was graphic design. So then that brought in the technical aspect of it. And so I said, I want to do something to where students get to use their hands,
Right.
but they also get to use the technology as well.
And the thing about it is, you hear of, this was so interesting to me because, as soon as you told me about your company, I said, you know what? That's parents. I said, are you going to offer any of these classes to kids? And you said, Crystal, I'm a step ahead of you, because what she's doing this summer is offering her STEAM Academy to students in the Houston area. And I know that at this time of the year, parents are always looking for things for their kids to do for the summer. So tell me a little bit about STEAM
Studio 3.
Studio 3. I always want to say STEAM 3 Studio. STEAM Studio 3. Tell us a little bit about it and what you're going to be offering.
Okay. So STEAM Studio 3 is a maker space. And a maker space is a creative space where kids get to, not just children, adults also, get to design, create, explore, and just get to tinker with things.
Right.
So they get to use their creative ability, thinking outside the box,
Right.
being innovative. So this summer I'm offering, each week is a different topic, and it all has something to do with STEM or with art, or
Wow.
combining the two together.
Wow.
So for instance, there will be a little architecture class, and basically students will be creating structures out of cardboard, but they'll also get to paint it. So that's the creative side.
Wow.
But you have to, use math.
Yes.
You have to build. You have to use those STEM skills also when you're creating a structure.
And you know what, Jawan? Here's the thing. And you laughed at me when I told you this, but I was so serious about this. I said, Jawan, I'm gonna be honest with you. If it were me, guys, I'm an open book. I'm just telling you this. I said, if I heard about this, and this was the kind of thing, you remember how my mother was with us.
Mhm.
This is the kind of thing that my mother would have tried to get myself and my sister into for a summer camp. And I would have protested so badly, not because it didn't seem like it was interesting, but because I knew that I wasn't the tech person or the math person. And I would have thought that, oh my goodness, this is going to be a summer full of math. And I'm not great at that. So I'm going to be doomed. This is going to be a nightmare, because I was already second guessing myself. And I said, Jawan, do kids have to be great in math or in science or in technology already
No.
to come in and enroll? Or is that something that you can kind of walk them through?
It's walking them through it, because basically what the kids are getting, they're learning how to create,
Yeah.
how to use their hands, how to cut cardboard, how to cut paper,
Right.
how to draw a straight line.
Right.
This day and age, I am seeing where when it comes to using your hands and manipulation, the students do not have that skill.
No.
And they need that skill.
They
Gluing.
absolutely do not.
The basics of just gluing something.
And in addition to being a innovation engineer, is that correct? What is it? I'm sorry.
Innovation is a creative innovation director.
In addition to being a creative innovation director, you're also a classroom teacher.
Yes.
So you said one thing that you noticed in your classroom is that kids are coming in these days and they haven't really developed the dexterity, the manual dexterity
Right.
that kids used to have a long time ago when they played with Play-Doh all the time,
Right.
or when they put things together with Lincoln Logs and all kinds of things. They're much more in tune with doing things on the PC. So
Right.
how is it different?
Right. So I'm going to go back a little bit. When I taught kindergarten through 5th grade,
Uh-huh.
I would see where if you had the students cut something,
Right.
or even my older students, 4th, 5th grade, they would have a paper towel roll and they needed to wrap some paper around it. They would just keep wrapping it around that roll. And then I would show them, no, you have to stop and you have to draw a line or measure it. And
Okay,
they'd be like, huh? So I just showed them, you just wrap it around, you stop and you cut it.
yes,
And with that, that's kind of how my idea came along with Makerspace. The school, we create, the librarian and I created a Makerspace.
right,
And that was a place where the students could come, they could use any kind of consumable and they could create with it. So if you have a popsicle stick, straws, the little wood stirrers for stirring coffee,
right,
clothespins, getting them to use those items to make something out of it. And so that's what a makerspace did.
wow,
And from there, the students were really having a good time because if you get a child to create something,
right,
they spend endless amount of time creating. And it's like they don't think about, oh, I need to be on the computer.
right,
Because they're doing things with hands.
with their hands,
With their
yes,
hands. So with Steam Studio 3, I said, okay, I wanted to do this, have a makerspace, but then include the technology aspect of it. So I also teach students how to code, computer programming. With that programming, you're using a computer, but if you add a motor and wheels, you have a robotic aspect of it. You
wow,
have to make something in order to get that robot to move.
yes,
So we're incorporating everything that is STEM related
yes,
into creating something to where then the students can say, hey, I made this. And they're learning how to use math, even though they wouldn't know it.
yes,
You have to write because you're going to have to write. What are your plans? You're going to have to use the engineering design process. You're like,
Wow.
what? But it's little steps that they're learning along the way that will carry them into the future.
Now, this was a little interesting to me because what I was asking about is that your ages again that you're going to be servicing, or what are the ages?
So the ages are 5 to 12.
Okay,
So I'm going to like 6th, 7th grade.
okay,
But I have a little program on Saturday that's called, and it's for different age groups, Storybook and STEM, STEAM. So it could be a 4-year-old. And what it is they listen to a story.
okay,
And then from that story, they are giving supplies. And they're given a challenge that they have to create something that is related to the story that they just heard.
okay. Now, so it's not too young for a 5-year-old or a
No.
6-year-old
No,
to be able to
they can code.
that. How did you know I was getting ready to say that?
They can code. They can do programming.
Wow.
With that age, I have little robots that they
Yes.
have to code. One is called a dash robot.
Okay.
One is a B-bot.
Okay.
That B-bot, all you're doing is pushing buttons up, down, left, and right.
Okay.
And that is showing the directions that they're going in.
Wow.
It might be where you use Scratch Junior.
What is that?
Scratch Junior is a program because when students get like second, third, all the way to middle school, they use Scratch, where it's just block programming to learn how to code.
Right.
And they have it for little kids also, like 5 to 7,
Wow.
actually 4. And so that's the first step of learning how to code using a computer or an iPad.
Okay. So let's say that hypothetically, I have a 10-year-old and a 14-year-old. I would be able to bring them into the studio on my way to work. So what time are the classes going to be starting?
So the hours are 9 to 3, but we have early hours that start at 8 o'clock. So you could bring them as early as 8 a.m.
Okay.
Then there's extended hours because there are parents that do not get off at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
So the extended hours are until 5 o'clock. So there would be a small fee from 3 to 5, where the students are having different challenges. Because during that time, they're still going to be learning.
Right.
This is not going to be where you're just going to sit and you're going to watch a movie or something.
Okay.
You're going to always have some kind of hands-on activity that they'll be
Wow.
doing.
Okay. So now along with their fee, because if I'm a parent, I'm going to be do the kids pack their lunches and they eat in the studio?
They will,
And-
yes, they'll pack their lunches and eat in the studio.
Okay, so are any of the what I'm doing right now, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up some of the activities that you sent me pictures of the students doing.
Okay.
And then we're gonna talk a little bit about what each one of those activities is
Okay,
and what a child might expect to accomplish
Okay.
during that. Now, if I have a student who's struggling in something like science or math, as a teacher, do you think that this type of hands-on activity will help them be able to connect those dots better?
it will help them connect the dots because I have found that when a student does something creative, they remember the concept a lot. They remember that concept than just add 2 + 2. Or
Right.
what is, if it's fractions. They have something that they can apply it to
Absolutely.
where they can remember.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you this. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up right now because I want us to allow everyone to see exactly what's coming up this weekend. And I don't know and you'll explain to us if we need to register or RSVP, because I know a lot of parents are going to say, well, I want my student to be able to see this. So what are we looking at?
All right, so on tomorrow from 6 to 8, there's going to be an open house. And basically, you're going to get to see STEAM Studio 3. You'll get to see all of the materials, everything that's available. You'll have a demonstration showing, like with the coding, with the building. Ask questions, because there are a lot of parents that are like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I will be able to answer those questions for you personally, but you will get a tour of the studio.
And is this the type of thing that you want the parents to bring the kids to so that
They can bring
see?
they can bring the children also. This is a family affair because those students, the kids want to know, hey,
Absolutely,
what
they
is it
do.
that I can do here? And once they see everything that's available, building with these planks called Kiva planks,
Right.
Lego, I have a 3D printer, all the different things that you can do that will be available and they'll be able to see.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved in being an art major. Were you just always a techie and you just like to explore with different types of media? What is it?
Mediums.
Mediums. I was almost there. Did you just, find yourself wanting to explore with different types of mediums, or how did you kind of get going with that?
I got into it from my father. My father was an architect,
Yes,
so he always encouraged creativity.
absolutely.
When I was little, we lived in Wichita, Kansas for a while,
Okay.
and we would go to the museum because it was somewhere free to go to.
Yeah.
And we would go to the museum, walk, look around. And so I was kind of raised going to the museum, taking art classes. Elementary school, I went to an arts magnet school,
Right.
elementary. So I've always done something creative.
Right.
And I wanted to where I started out in architecture, didn't go that path, and ended up in graphic design.
Yeah. Still
So-
artistic. Very
so, yeah,
artistic.
yeah.
Okay. So Jerwan, tell us what we're looking at when we are looking at this young man right here. What are we looking at?
All right, he is actually in front of the 3D printer, and he has printed a little dinosaur that
Wow.
has different parts that move. So he's waiting for his dinosaur to finish printing with the 3D
Wow.
printer.
Okay. And you were telling me something that 3D printers have come a long way.
Yes,
And you said with arms and legs that move?
that actually move.
So when that comes out of the 3D printer, at that point, does it have to be put together?
It's already put
You're
together.
kidding.
Everything is printed and it moves, the arms move, everything.
Oh my goodness.
When 3D printed started, you could actually look at something. I'd be like, oh, okay, I can tell that's 3D printed.
Yeah,
Just from
the rough edges.
the
and-
rough edges and everything. Now 3D printing has gotten so good to where it looks like something that you might have just bought from a toy store.
Absolutely.
And the nice thing is that there are so many things that you can build. If you need a boat, you can create a boat. If you need buttons, you can create buttons with a 3D printer.
Yeah.
The new thing now is all these miniatures, doll houses and stuff. You can create dollhouse furniture with a 3D printer.
So what are we looking at on this one? What is it? Oh, that's the
So
studio.
this is the studio. So the studio is about
It's good.
1,400 square feet.
Yeah.
And I have all the supplies out so you can actually look and see what it is that you would like to get. When I have activities for students, I already have supplies out,
Yeah.
but they get to then their challenge is from what's in front of them, what is it that you can create? So there might be a sign that says, okay, I want you to build a house. But
Wow.
there might be where there's straws, popsicle sticks, pom-poms. It might be where, hey, I want you to build a chair.
Yeah.
And from that, that's available. But also in that space, I hold adult class.
That's what I was going to ask you.
So,
So,
yeah,
so if I'm a really techie bride to be, and I want to have my bridal shower there, we could come there just like people do the paint parties.
right. I do where it's a lot done with paper.
Yes.
So it might be where it's creating a book binding,
Wow.
creating tags. There are all these different multimedia tags.
Wow.
Creating an art journal, big thing is junk journals. They have classes for that because there are classes where you can come with a group and have a party,
Yes.
or there are individual classes to where, hey, I want to take a class that might be an hour and a half of creating different tags using paint, washi tape, stickers, all these different mediums.
Now, this is interesting. What are we looking at? Let's see. Let me do this first. Okay, unhide that one. Now, tell us what we're looking at. Those are some of the fun things.
So this is just like what I was saying, where there would be a whole bunch of materials on the table.
Right.
This is just a mashup of materials, and you can choose from any of these to create with. It might be where you have just a plain piece of paper, and you might want to glue some paper on, use some fun scissors
Yes.
to cut zigzags, put some sequins on a page,
Right.
and then from there you create your own creative piece of
Masterpiece.
work. Yes,
Your
artwork.
own masterpiece. Absolutely. We got a couple more that I want you to tell me about. Now, what are we looking at on this one?
All
What's that
right.
young man doing?
This is an example where he has been given a robot. So that
Really?
robot is, yes,
Yeah.
a little robot. He has sequins, he has pom-poms, he has colored pencils, pens, and letters.
Yeah.
And so with all that, he can decorate and design his robot.
Oh my goodness. And the things that they're able to create, are they able to keep these things?
They are able to keep these things.
Oh
and
my
this
goodness.
you're actually looking at a first grader.
Okay, so he's about maybe
He's a
5 or 6.
Yes.
Wow. What are we looking at here, Juwan?
All right. So here you have the little dash robot at the very
Oh, I
bottom of the
see it.
page.
There
The
it
little
is.
blue robot. And what he's doing is he's using the iPad to control the robot.
Right.
So that robot can talk. So you can actually say something or record it. He moves his head back and forth. There are lights that come on, but he is maneuvering the robot
Wow. With that iPad.
with the iPad.
Good grief. So the kids are really getting ready to take over the
Wireless.
world.
Yeah.
That's scary. Okay. The kids seem like they're learning a lot more technology. And if adults want to come in, like you said, and learn about some of these different technologies too, and they just may be a little embarrassed or feel as though they aren't savvy. You're not the kind of teacher that makes adults feel bad about not
No.
necessarily knowing how to do it. And I know she's not. No, she's not. She's got all the patience in the world. But so again, I'm going to reiterate this for a student who would be like I was, and very afraid and intimidated by things that had to do with calculating and measuring and making sure things lined up. And if you make a mistake, it's like the world is over. But so that's not
the case at all. Usually what we'll do, or what I do, is we start from just a basic activity.
okay.
And usually it's where it's something that none of the kids have done. Even if they have, I will then include a challenge for them.
Right.
But it's starting from just the basics
Okay.
and not feeling intimidated. And what I have found is that with children, they love to help one another.
They do.
So if there's a child that has done something before, it's like, oh, let me show you how to do it, because they want to feel as though they're helpful.
They're helping the
Okay.
other. Yeah.
Yep.
And kids learn, they learn from each other.
Yep.
They really learn from each other. Now, Jawan, tell us a little bit about your background in the classroom. And you served in a very similar capacity for many years in the public school system.
Yes.
And is that where you sort of saw and developed the different niches that you wanted to try to go into with the studio?
Yes. So I actually started out as a technology teacher, teaching pre-K through 8th grade.
Okay.
And then from there, I really became interested in using technology and how you can integrate technology into the curriculum
Okay.
at schools. So then I became a learning technology coach. So I was the one
All
who
within the
would
public
coach
school system.
with all
Yeah.
within the public school system.
Right.
So I would be the one that would coach teachers on how to integrate technology when we started really using computers
Yeah.
and how they can use it with their students in the classroom. So I would model for the teachers, hey, this is what you need to do to make them feel better.
Yeah.
And from there, I've actually taught from pre-K all the way to college. I've
Wow.
taught graphic design, I've taught high school audio video production, and being out of the classroom,
Right.
I felt like, ooh, I miss being with the students.
Wow.
So I went back into the classroom.
Yes.
And I was K through 8. And from there, I just really would see how students would light up when they
Right.
would create something, if it was on the computer or by hand. So, and to this day, I'm even showing teachers just with the makerspace, how you can include a makerspace, how you can use a makerspace in the classroom.
Wow.
And that is in creating projects to where it aligns with a topic that they're covering,
Yes.
to where the students gain interest and it's something that's memorable.
Okay. Now, with that being the case, tell us again how I almost forgot to ask you this. On Saturday, at Saturday evening,
Yes.
when parents come out, will there be a Q&A? Will you be able to ask you questions?
Yes, you'll be able to ask me questions. I will have it to where, and it will be where you come, you kind of see the space, and then there will be a part where if you want to ask me something, just personally, I'm
Yes.
going to always be available. So it's from 6 to 8 on Saturday.
Okay. And when they get there, and you said they are allowed to bring their students.
Yes.
And do you find, or have you found that this type of program, Jawan, is something that girls enjoy on an equal level as boys?
Mhm. It's equal footing. It's not like, oh, boys are gonna like this more than girls. Because I'm finding where I just finished with a project with my 6th graders.
Wow.
And the girls and the boys had to actually create something out of cardboard that moved, or they had a mechanism that moved,
Wow.
and they had to code it. And you'd be surprised at what some of the things the girls made. It might have been where it was a rabbit sitting up on a box and
Yeah.
his ears moved.
Oh my
Or
goodness.
yes. Or it might have been where I had some girls that created a mall and they had little advertisements that would turn around and it would be their favorite products that they liked. So we had boys that created a vending machine. They created a vending machine where they actually had cans that were 3D printed that would fall down and it would open. And in order
Oh my
for it
goodness.
to open, they had like a little debit card that they made. So it was a sensor that sensed that it was time for the cans to fall. So this is something that is not for, it's for boys or it's for girls.
Right.
It's an equal footing. Because I think that every child needs to have those skills to where they can think outside the box. They can come up with creative ideas because you're going to have to do that in the real world also.
Right.
So this is getting them ready for that.
Okay. Now, now this is what everybody is going to want to ask this as we speak. And you know what that is. This sounds like something I would love for my students to become involved with. But oh my gosh, if they're doing that, it sounds like it is so expensive.
Not expensive.
You heard it from her mouth. Okay, so if the duration of the camp is how many weeks?
So each week there is a different topic.
Okay.
So it might be where you come just for you look at basically the menu.
Yeah.
And it says, okay, so the second week in June, it might be where there's Lego creations and stop animation.
Okay.
And with that, it's the whole week and it's $500.
Okay.
But if you do it before May 1st, then that's 10% off.
Okay.
So yeah. So, and you're going from 9 to 3
Exactly.
or 5 days.
Yeah. And it's basically during the time when parents are at work.
Yeah.
and the kids will be there.
Mhm.
And do y'all take any field trips?
We're located in a gallery.
Tell us about the location.
So it's located in Sabine's Studios, which is basically a studio space. And when you
An
walk,
artist space.
an
almost.
artist space. So when you
Wow.
walk out of I have 2 doors. I have a door that is from the parking lot,
Right.
and then I have a door that goes out to the gallery space.
Wow.
So we'll go in there and we'll look at the different artwork that's available. Across the street
Wow.
is Spring Street Studios.
I've seen
That's
that.
another space.
Yes.
And so that's available also. But
So,
I have,
when y'all will, so basically what you're saying, I want to make sure I understand this right,
Mhm.
is that there will be opportunities for you all to do walking tours
yes.
and see some of the other things that are available
Yeah.
there.
Mhm.
Wow. And you were getting ready to say you have there was something else?
Yes, so what I was gonna say also is that even though whatever the camp is, there are certain blocks to where we will actually be creating, but then there's gonna be a block to where there'll be a brain break.
Okay.
Well, then there will be where I'll have snacks. I'm
Yeah.
offering snacks.
Yes.
So you'll have a snack and then we'll discuss something or they'll do something else. Play a game, create a game, but then it'll go back to what we have been talking about in the beginning. So they'll have different things. When they
Yeah.
finish with that week, they will have a lot of things that they'll be bringing on with them. And they'll get a lot of hands-on experience.
So for basically the price that it would be these days to send a student to a daycare almost,
Mhm.
you can have an experience where these students are actually having hands-on.
Yes.
And they may be at that point because, kids these days, they seem to know a lot about what they may want to do at a very young age because they've had the hands-on.
Right.
Yes. And, when they have the hands-on, that helps them to really be able to focus their attention when they get to school and on the types of electives that they want to select, on the kinds of clubs that they want to be a part of.
Right.
Yes. Jawan, tell me about your college background.
So I graduated from Prairie View A&M
Yes.
in graphic design.
Yes.
But I also have a master's in liberal arts.
Okay.
I have another master's in education technology.
Okay.
And
Wow.
I have a certificate in makerspace management and kind of like instruction also.
Okay. Makerspace management. Okay.
Mhm.
Interesting. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull up something because I want everyone to see your commercial that that we have here. And while I'm pulling this up, let me just ask you this. Now, will this be the only open house that that you'll have?
No. So actually, every second Saturday
Right.
at Sabine Studios, we have what is called like an open studio.
Okay.
So that's a time where you can come also, and you can come to an open studio and you can do something.
Wow.
So,
Okay. Now, before we got started, and because I want the parents to have all the information so that they can kind of be, have those questions ready for you
Right.
when they get there. So before we got started, you told me that you are going to have space this summer for 15 students.
yes,
Wow.
yes.
That's limited space. So they need to really go ahead and book early.
Right. And I want that limited space because I want the students to be able to have an experience
Yes.
to where they have that one-on-one. I don't want it to be where it's really crowded and you're just like, everybody has questions, but they're like, yeah, but she didn't get to answer my question.
Right.
I want it to be where they have an experience.
And if a student is, since you said that the workshops are going to be a la carte, if a student is but you would actually recommend that the student take the series,
Yes.
because sometimes what you're doing in each of the series, you are sort of building up
Right.
on what. Explain that a
Right.
little bit.
So
For
for
example.
example, it might be where we're doing robotics, programming and robotics or coding and robotics.
Right.
Then from there, it might be where there is the architecture, mini
Yes.
architecture. Well, from that, because they've done the cardboard creations, there's also the paper engineering. You're putting that together to then you're building and you're adding the electronic and programming component on it.
Yes.
So it's like adding every little thing to where you have a whole. But it's where also students get different, like I said, the whole thing is an experience.
Right.
And it might be where they just want to build with Lego. Hey, that is fine. Because that way you get to see what Legos can I put together or with a challenge to where you can really create something.
Exactly. So I want to pull that slide. Jawan and I were talking about before we came on. My allergies are going crazy. And I was at school today and my students always think I'm dying because my allergies really take off. But Jawan, it looks like we're having a little bit of a wait time
Okay.
before that video comes up. And if for whatever reason we don't get to see the video, we can, and I'm going to try to make sure that we can see it. But if for whatever reason we are unable to see the video, I'm going to go and I'm going to load it from our main
Okay.
unit so that we can make sure that we get that. And I want to go ahead and pull that flyer back up for
Okay.
parents who want to
And
take part in that open house.
And there are a lot of other videos that are available on my Instagram page. Instagram, which is at Steam Studio 3, and on Facebook and TikTok.
Okay, and again, that open house is going to be this Saturday, March the 28th, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's at 1907 Sabine Street, Suite 156. Is that in the Heights?
It is kind of in the Heights, out of the Heights.
The Washington Avenue.
Washington Avenue, yeah.
Okay, the Washington Avenue corridor. So
Yes.
it's the real swanky part. I love it over there. Those artist studios are beautiful over there. I knew someone who had a studio over there. But it's Houston 77077, and you're asking that guest RSVP. And how are they RSVP?
So the phone number's on there, 713-256-8513. You can just send a text saying, hey, I'm going to be there. The nice thing about this studio is that it's a unique studio because I have a door that is from the parking lot also. So you can drive up, drop your child off,
Yes.
and then leave and go to work. So
Okay.
we have an exterior door also. And there's a sign on that door that says Steam Studio 3.
So when students get there in the morning, and what is the attire? Would you recommend that kids come dressed very comfortably? I see our videos up.
Okay, yes.
That kids come dressed very comfortably.
Comfortable. As comfortable as you would be in the summer.
Okay.
You know, sweatshirt, shorts, sweatpants, tennis shoes. So, yes.
Okay. So let's see if we can go ahead and get this video up and playing for us. I'm hoping that that's the case. Let's see if I'm going to have that luck here. Juwan.
Steam Studio 3 is a makerspace that is a creative, hands-on learning space where people design, build, experiment, and problem solve using tools, technology, and craft materials. Think of it as a mashup of a workshop, art studio, science lab, and tech hub powered by curiosity and creativity. At Steam Studio 3, we offer workshops and birthday parties for children and adults, summer camps, create and social time for adults, team building, and professional development. Come to Steam Studio 3 to ignite your creativity.
Anybody can come and have fun.
Okay, so the video just left us, but explain a little bit about what we were seeing there.
So it had where there were basically what I did was I showed different items that the students would be learning while they were at Steam Studio 3. So there was a little bit of robotics, there was some science, squishy circuits where you can actually use Play-Doh to make a circuit with a battery to light up a light bulb. I have a whole week where it is paper circuits. And with paper circuits, you're creating something to where you're using copper tape, conductive tape, and making something light up with a
What is
battery.
conductive tape?
So it's a tape that when you put it together with with a bulb and a battery,
Okay,
it will light up. So that's
Wow.
our science.
okay,
But you can be creative with it. You can create a card. When you press down, then something will happen.
okay. And I saw some adults there
Yes.
at the table. What were they doing?
So that was the the multimedia tag.
Okay,
And with the multimedia tags, basically you're using all these art supplies and you're creating these creative tags that would then go on a ring. So if somebody looked at it, they would go through and they're looking at all these works of art
wow,
that you've created.
wow. Okay, and Jawan, before we close out, I want you, and what we're gonna do, everything that you've given us, we're gonna drop it into the chat. And I didn't even pull up our chat here. Okay, we're gonna drop it into the chat, the video as well as the other media that you sent and your contact numbers. Now, are there other ways that people can reach out to you? On Facebook, Instagram, or
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, go to the
Okay.
website, steamstudio3.com. Everything is there for you. And with the website, that's where you can also register for any of the classes. There'll be a list with adult classes, camp, and children's classes.
and the classes start the week of what?
So how it's set up right now is that for the month of April, there'll be different children's classes available, like after school. I do it at
Really?
4:15, yes. Starting in September, it'll be full after school to where there'll be a series of where it is, let's say, for instance, 3D printing. And they'll
Okay,
go through the whole process and create something and learn about 3D printing.
wow,
So it's almost like a little semester class.
wow.
Right now, I
That's
have them where they're just individual.
Okay,
For adults, there's always classes for adults in the evening from 6:30 until 8. And that's available. And then on Saturdays, I have different classes that are available for children and adults.
so you're open year round.
So I'm open year round.
And how long has Steam 3 Studios been in existence?
Steam Studio 3 has been in existence for
Steam Studio 3, I'm going to get that right. I'm going to get that right. Yeah,
So we've been around for about 2 months now.
okay. But it's
Yeah.
been, but it's been, the concept has been,
This has been a labor of love.
yes, for a couple of years. I remember when you were initially looking for your studio.
Yes.
And I think that you found such a wonderful place to make sure that that it presents in the way that it should. And like Jerwan said, this is something that is going to be available and exciting for girls as well as guys, girls as well as boys. She was telling us how some of the girls designed some things in their coding class
Yes.
at your school where you teach
Yes.
robotics class.
No, this was actually, so these are my 6th grade students at the school that I teach at.
Okay,
And they're in the unit now where it's coding and robotics.
wow. And the girls designed a little rabbit that sat on top of a box and the bunny's ears flopped.
Mhm.
And it's so cute.
Yes.
And because basically anything that is technological, you can gear that to something that you like.
Mhm.
Yes. And you said that they also had a mall display where they
Right.
created a mall display and it was something.
Where it was products that went around in a circle of items that they like,
Wow.
different brands that they like.
Yes.
So, but also there is availability to where I host children's parties also, children's birthday party.
Yeah.
And with that, there would be a STEAM activity. The same thing with adults. If you want to come and you want to do a little party or a get together, that's available.
Oh my gosh, wait a second, because I know that you have family members who are party plan. I mean, so if I have a birthday party at Steam, don't say it, no, Steam Studio 3.
Right.
I got it right. If I have a birthday party at Steam Studio 3, we just show up with our group and everything is turnkey.
Well, you show up with your group
Yes.
and we provide the space and the activity. you can bring the food.
Or but you have people that that can do that. It can be turnkey.
Yes.
Because when your family plans parties, they are a family of professional party
Yes.
planners, and they many of them have been doing that for years and
Yes.
years, and they do weddings and parties and all kinds of really
Everything.
neat things, and it always looks magnificent. But Jawan, I want to thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming out and telling us about Steam Studio 3.
All right.
I did it again. I did it correctly again. And we're gonna be having clips of this broadcast throughout the week, even though the event is tomorrow. We're gonna go ahead and really blitz tonight and tomorrow morning
Okay.
to try to get those people in. And what you may find is that you may have to have another open house.
Now.
Yes, because we were kind of late to the party. But ladies and gentlemen, moms, dads, grandmas, people who are going to be the stewards of their kids this summer, this is a wonderful program to get your kids involved in, because not only is it fun, but it's learning, it's helping them quite possibly become familiar with what they never knew they were interested in.
Mhm.
And our society is moving towards AI and technology quicker than we can blink. And the more ahead of the game your kids are, the better off they'll be. They'll have their position already secured in a technologically dynamic world. Jawan O'Neil, thank you so much for coming in, teacher to teacher. Guys, we always tell you that communities rise when there's a teacher at the table. And this is what I mean by that. That was one of my slogans during the campaign. Communities rise when there's a teacher at the table. What Jawan is telling us and showing us is that that human element should never and can never be replaced by a machine element. And she is ensuring that that human element is going to have presence there when your kids are learning. Your kids are never going to be put on a computer to answer a question. She's there to answer those questions. And this is what she does every day. If you've got kids that you think are even the least bit interested in science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, I got that theme all the way right.
Yeah.
You want to be at this open house. You want to be there tomorrow from 6 until 8 at address
1907 Sabine Street.
1907 Sabine Street. Come armed with your questions.
Yeah.
Payment plan. For the summer camp, can they pay half and then pay the other half before they
Yes.
start?
For the summer camp, there is a payment plan to where you can make a deposit and then two payments.
Yes, so you don't have to
Yeah.
try to do everything at once.
No.
She tries to make it comfortable
Mhm.
because she wants the program to be
Right.
accessible. This is something that should be accessible to your students. But we are going to have all of this information in those comments in the chat so that you can make sure that that you are able to get your questions answered. But more than anything else, there's not a fee for the open house. Just come out and hear what she's got to say. To have something and somewhere for your kids to go and something for them to do during the summer that's actually productive, this is it. This is what you want to do. So again, I encourage you to go to the open house and see exactly what she's talking about. The commercial that we played is also going to be in the comments. You can play it over again and reach out to her. She gave you her telephone number. She can be contacted via Instagram, via Facebook, via TikTok, all of the social media platforms she is available on. At the end of the summer program, is there going to be sort of like a little showcase for the students? Like the dance people do a recital, and they can show what they've created?
At the end of each week, I have there's a showcase showing what the students have learned for that week, since
Awesome.
each week is different.
Yes. That is awesome. So, STEAM Studio 3.
Yes.
STEAM Studio 3 is right there at the cusp. It's getting ready to take off. You want to be on the cutting edge of it. You want to be there at the very beginning. And reach out to her. She will be there to answer your questions. I'm going to try to drop by there because I want to see. And I'm interested in some of those adult parties. That seems like that's better than sipping and painting.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, that's better. You might actually create something that you can use. It won't end up in the thrift store, right? But Juwan, I want to thank you so much for coming on to the podcast today and sharing with us what has been your heart's
Yes.
child for so long that you're finally able to present to the public.
Crystal, I want to thank you for having me.
You are welcome. You are welcome, and I hope that you'll come back.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
next time you come back, I want you to possibly bring one of your students
That'd be
and
great.
maybe one of their creations so we can actually show what you've done.
Sounds good.
But my Crystal Loves Texas podcast family, again, like we say every week, before I say that, always remember communities rise when there's a teacher at the table. But like we say every week, we can do it. We'll see you later.
Bye.